Welcome to your practice. Today we're going to go over the fundamentals of some of the most common poses we see in yoga. It's perfect for beginners, but a great refresher for practitioners of all levels. So we'll get started lying down on our backs in a traditional Shavasana, arms and legs relaxed on the floor. And whether this is your first class or you've done this a million times, remember the breath is the anchor of your practice. It's what allows you to stay present and focused in the body. This connection to the breath is what transforms your practice and helps you truly feel the power of yoga. So as you lie in stillness and take a few deep breaths, allow mind, body, and breath to come together for your practice today. Very mindfully invite some movement into just the fingers and the toes, wiggle them. And as you continue to breathe deeply, you can start to increase this movement, circle the wrists and the ankles, rock the head from one ear over to the other. And we'll open up with a full body stretch on your next inhale, reaching the arms overhead. Spread your fingers out wide, point your toes and lengthen out. And as you exhale, bend your knees, draw them in towards the chest, and place your hands on top of the knees for double wind relieving pose. Keep the back of the head relaxed on the floor so we're not straining the neck, and as you press the tailbone down, you can find a little bit of movement, rocking side to side across the lower back, or using your hands to swirl your knees in little circles. And now release the soles of your feet down to the mat and heel toe them so they're about mat width apart. Flex your feet off the mat so the heels will spike down but the toes will lift. And then allow both of your knees to drop over towards the right side, rolling to the outer right hip. And as we continue to foster this awareness of the breath, you can place your right hand onto your belly, reach the left arm overhead so we're gently lengthening out through the left side. Take a few directional breaths, breathing into the right hand. So as you inhale and the chest and belly inflate, the hand will rise up subtly. And as you exhale, it'll sink back down. Slowly, you can bring your left hand back down. We'll roll the feet through center, keep the toes flexed off the floor, and then allow both of your knees to drop to the other side. So going towards the left this time. You can reach your right arm overhead, feeling that gentle lengthening down the right side, and rest your left hand on the belly and ribcage area. And just like on the other side, same idea, use the sensation of your left hand in contact with the body to anchor you to the breath, watching every inhale and exhale as they naturally unfold. There's no need to force the breath or decide how long it is, but simply to observe and to stay present. Bring your right hand down, we'll come back through center, and this time as we draw the knees in towards the chest, split the knees a little bit wider apart so the arms can come inside of the legs as you grab onto the knife edges of the feet. Turn the soles of your feet up towards the sky, lining up ankles over top of the knees for happy baby pose. Tuck the chin to the chest so the back of the neck feels a little bit longer. Plug the shoulder blades down into the mat and think about pressing the tailbone down as well. We often think of this pose as more of a hip opener, but it's also about lengthening the spine. And if you'd like, you can accompany this pose with a gentle rock side to side, shifting the weight over from the right side to the left a few times, giving yourself this gentle self-massage. Let that rocking motion go, and as you come back through center, we'll release the pose. So let go of your feet. Bend your knees, drop your feet down to the floor, reach the right arm overhead, and roll into a fetal position on the right side. then on your next inhale, press yourself up, and we're going to come all the way to sit crisscross applesauce in Sukhasana easy pose, facing towards the front of your mat. Gently grip the palms against the knees for a little bit of traction here as you draw the chest forward and firm up the shoulder blades on the back, sitting up as tall as you can, and then release your palms to face open towards the sky. Now just the head and neck move in isolation. As you inhale, lift your chin up towards the sky, gazing upwards. And as you exhale, like you're carving a line with your nose, drop the head down, tuck the chin to the chest. 2 more times, inhaling to direct the gaze up towards the sky, feeling a stretch in the front of the throat. And exhale to gaze down, be mindful not to scrunch up the shoulders. Last round, inhale, send the gaze up. And exhale, keep the shoulders heavy as you drop the chin to the chest. Roll your right ear over towards the right shoulder, and we're going to do one big slow circle in this direction, finishing with the chin in towards the chest, and then reverse direction. So left ear towards left shoulder, roll the head back, keep the shoulders relaxed, and we'll finish with the chin tucked. And then as you inhale, lift the gaze so the chin is parallel to the floor, stacking the head over the heart. Now take a massive breath in, reach your arms out to the sides all the way up and overhead, and as you exhale, bring the palms together and glide them down to heart center. 2 more times, movement and breath together. Inhale, reach out and up, seal the palms. Exhale, slide the hands down so they're just in front of the chest. 1 more time, inhale, make this big stretching through the fingertips to lengthen the sides of the waist. Exhale, return the hands down. And now as we inhale, this time we're going to reach the arms up and overhead, palms touch. We're going somewhere else. Keep your left hand in the air, but lower your right hand down beside you. You can invite a gentle bend into the right elbow as you reach up and over with the left fingertips. The key here is to think about lifting up and out of the waist rather than just scrunching over to the side. And keep that top arm reaching nice and long as you turn your gaze up towards the ceiling. Inhale to rise up through center, palms touch, and exhale, other side. Place your left hand down, this time right arm reaches up and over. Again, trying to feel like we're lifting up and out of the waist as we bend over to the side. So that way we get a little bit of length down, not only the right side, but the left side as well. Gently press off with the left hand to come up through center, palms can meet at the top, and now turn your chest over towards the right and float your hands down, so left hand to right knee. Right hand can find the floor behind you with the fingertips facing back as you rotate your head to look either towards the right side or back over the right shoulder. But the important thing is here, we're not just turning the head, but the chest dials over towards the right as well. Full spinal twist. Release this side as the chest turns forward, arms reach overhead, and then we're going the other way. So the right hand comes to the left knee, left hand down behind you. Make sure you don't tip all of your weight over to the left side. So the right glute might want to lift up off the floor. Anchor it down, even if that means you twist a little bit less. Take another inhale to lengthen. Exhale, maybe turning slightly more towards the left. And then let's release, coming through center, sweeping the arms up and overhead, gazing forwards. As the palms touch, glide them down to heart center. This time we'll interlace all 10 fingers and give the wrists a little bit of a roll here. So just warming up before we come into tabletop position. You can go a couple times one direction and then reverse the direction of your circles. Be mindful of your breath once more as you come into these wrist rolls. Unclasp your hands, give the wrists a little bit of a shake, and then come into a tabletop position. Being really conscious about how you plant the hands here. Spread your fingers out wide, super important to take up as much space as you can. Index fingers face forward, little bend in the elbows to prevent hyperextension of the elbow joints, shoulders over the wrists, and hips over the knees. From here, as we inhale, lift the tail, allow the belly to sag down, and lift the chin to gaze forward. And then as you exhale, do the opposite, round through the spine, drop the chin to the chest, and push down through the hands. Inhale, draw the heart forward, drop the belly down, gaze out across the horizon. And exhale to round, feeling the skin and the muscles of the back body stretch out. Inhale, scooping the heart forward, finding that slight lift of the tailbone, firm the navel up and in. And exhale, hollow out the body, push down through the hands as you empty the lungs. Allow your spine to roll through this slow oscillating motion a few more times, being mindful to try to line up your movements with your breath. Let your breath dictate the speed of the movement rather than the other way around. Come back to a neutral position for the spine on your next inhale. Tuck all 10 toes under behind you, lift your knees up off the floor, and then press your hips back and up towards the sky, extending into your first downward facing dog. Relax your head between your arms and start to pedal out your dog, feeling this stretch through the arch of the foot, how that connects to the ankle, to the calf, to the knee, to the hamstring, to the hip. So this movement is a wonderful reminder that everything in our bodies is so intricately connected. Now try this out. From your downward dog, come up really high onto your tiptoes, lifting your heels. Bend your knees and then push with your hands to press the heart back towards the thighs and tip the tailbone up towards the sky. From here, try to straighten out through the legs, reach the heels down. It doesn't matter whether or not they touch the mat. Take a deep inhale through the nose here. And as you exhale, a feel-good sigh out through the mouth. And now slide your gaze forward towards the top of the mat. Look between your hands so you know where you're going. And take teeny tiny steps to walk it all the way up, landing with your feet hip-width apart at the top of your mat in a forward fold. It never hurts to bend the knees here, whether that's a little bit or a lot, so that you can allow the chest to relax down without pulling too much on the lower back. Allow the head and the arms to hang, completely releasing. You can even shake your head yes, and then shake your head no, and then simply let it hang so the back of the neck is smooth, not all scrunched up. Grab hold of opposite elbows like you're cradling a baby and keeping the arms hanging down. Take a gentle sway side to side to further release the lower back. This should feel really, really good. Then coming back through center, release your hands to the floor, bend your knees even more, tuck the chin, and slow as you can go, rise all the way up to stand, rolling the shoulders onto your back at the top and releasing the palms to face forward. Here we are in mountain pose, Tadasana. Staying strongly grounded through the feet with the gaze forward, we'll take an inhale to stretch the arms up and overhead. Catch onto the left wrist with your right hand, bend the upper body over to the right, and gently bump your hips over to the left for a side body stretch. Come up through center, switch the grip, grabbing onto your right wrist, and we'll lean the upper body over to the left side, gently leaning the hips over towards the right. As you come up through center, this time release your hands, swan dive all the way down, dropping the fingertips and dropping the head for a forward fold. Keep your hands on the floor as you reach your left leg all the way back, tuck your toes under at the back of the mat, and then land your knee. Place one hand and then the other on the right knee and thigh, and then press the upper body and away, coming into a low lunge position. Think about turning on the core muscles to support you as you reach the arms up and overhead. Careful not to lean back and dump all of the weight into the lower back. We want to keep the lower back happy and the legs, the foundation, super strong. Keep the attention on the breath here as you take another slow inhale. And exhale without collapsing, take your hands down to frame the front foot. Tuck your left toes under so you can lift your left knee, spin the left heel down so the foot is flat on the floor, and windmill starting with the left arm, reach it all the way up and back as you peel the upper body up, arms parallel, and gaze forward for warrior two. This posture is all about feeling grounded and balanced, so make sure you distribute your weight equally between your front foot and your back foot, and that you line up your shoulders right over top of the hips, so you're not leaning forward or back in this one. Flip your right palm to face up towards the sky, and as you take a huge inhale, we're going to sweep the right hand back and up, left hand to the outside of the left thigh. Keep lunging into your right knee, maybe even send the right knee forward another inch or two. And as you exhale, come all the way through Warrior Two. This time, drop your right elbow gently to the right knee and reach your left arm straight up to the sky. Look up towards your left thumb and really think about stretching up with the left fingertips. If you'd like, turn your left palm to face back behind you and take the back of your left hand to the lower back for a half bind. Continue to draw the left shoulder blade onto your back like you're trying to turn your chest open towards the sky, finding this incredible rotation through the upper body as you stay strong and grounded through the lower body. Release the left hand, re-extending it up towards the sky, and then turning all the way around, take your left hand down inside of the right foot. Tuck your left toes under so you can lift your right arm up towards the sky. Stack the right shoulder on top of the left, and now we'll gaze up towards the right thumb. If you'd like a little more sensation in the hips, allow the hips to sink down and forward without collapsing the left knee or lowering it down towards the floor. Return your gaze down to the mat and lower your right hand outside of the right foot. Keep the back toes tucked under so you can simply step back to a high plank position. Lower the knees down, untuck your toes, bend the elbows and lower your chest and chin all the way to the floor. Now turn your fingertips out just slightly so the elbows hug in close to the sides of the rib cage. Press the pubic bone down into the floor, and as you inhale, slowly peel your chin and your chest up off the mat. Keep hugging the elbows in close to the sides and exhale to release back down. Now you can push up through all fours, coming through tabletop position. Widen your knees to the very borders of your mat. Bring your big toes to touch behind you, and we'll send the hips back to the heels and drop the forehead to the floor for Balasana, Child's Pose. Allow the elbows to rest on the floor so the shoulder blades kind of slide apart across the back body. And imagine you're breathing into that space between the shoulder blades. Because often when we're breathing, we just think about this very superficial level of breathing into the chest. Try to make this breath more three-dimensional, so starting to breathe into the back body and even the sides of the rib cage. Coming out of Child's Pose, lift your forehead, gently gazing forward, and pull yourself forward to all fours. Tuck your toes under, lift your knees off the floor, and then peel the tailbone back and up, returning to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Slide your gaze forward, looking somewhere between the thumbs. This time, lift your heels, bend your knees, draw the belly in, and see if you can use that momentum to step one foot and then the other into your forward fold at the front of the mat. Bend your knees more as you arrive, tuck the chin, let the head hang, and slowly round up, holding the shoulders back and down as you arrive to stand with the palms facing forwards. And just take a moment to reconnect with what matters the most here, which is, of course, the breath. Inhale to reach the arms up, fingertips towards the sky. Exhale, turn your palms forward, bend your elbows 90 degrees and pull the elbows back so the shoulder blades squeeze together. We get this nice big heart opener. Inhale to release, reaching the arms back up towards the sky. And exhale, swan dive all the way down to our forward fold. With your hands on the floor, reach your right toes to the back of the mat. Once they land, lower your right knee down. Make sure left knee is lined up over the left ankle as you place one hand and then the other on top of the left knee and press the chest away from the thigh. Ground down through the left heel. Firm the navel in, turn on the core. Once your foundation is set, lighten up your hands and with a big inhale, reach them up and overhead. Turn your palms to face in towards each other so the pinky fingers face forward and try to line up your biceps with your ears. As you release your exhale, release your hands down to the mat to frame your front foot. Tuck the right toes under, lift your right knee off the floor, and then turn the toes out and drop the heel down. Keeping a lunge in your left knee, your right arm is going to reach up towards the sky and then windmill it all the way back, lifting the chest and arriving in Warrior Two with the left knee bent and the right leg straight. And here you are, gazing forward just over the left fingertips, strong, calm, and balanced. Virabhadrasana 2. Flip your left palm to face up towards the sky, and as you inhale, reach your left fingertips up and over. Gently place the right hand on the outer right thigh. Continue to lunge into the left knee. Return to Warrior Two, and then gently lower the left elbow to the left knee. Reach the right arm straight up towards the sky so the wrist is stacked over the shoulder to start as you gaze upwards and broaden across the chest and collarbones. For a little bit more, turn your right palm to face back behind you, and keeping the palm facing away from you, take the fingernail side of your right hand, slide it across the lower back. Make sure not to let the right shoulder roll forward and collapse. You want to draw the right shoulder blade onto the back and spin the chest open towards the sky. Unwind the right hand from behind the back, stretching it back up towards the sky, and then gaze down and lower your right hand inside of the left foot, turning the chest all the way over to face towards the left side now as you reach your left fingertips high. Reach back through the right heel, and perhaps you allow the hips to sink down more without collapsing the back knee. Look down to your mat, lower your left hand down outside of the left foot. Keep your back toes tucked under so you can step back to a high plank position. This time, without lowering the knees, bend the elbows and lower the whole front body down to the mat, untucking the toes at the bottom. Use the strength of your back to lift your chin and your chest, and then maybe press down a little bit more through the hands to come up to full cobra, shining the heart towards the front of your yoga mat. Bend your elbows to lower down with control. Chin touches the mat. And now press up, coming through all fours, this time bringing the knees and the feet together, untucking the toes. Send the hips back to the heels, round the chest forward over the thighs, and drop your forehead to the floor. If you'd like, you can reach your arms back in line with the sides of the body, turning the palms to face up, allowing the fronts of the shoulders to slump down. Breathe into the back body once more, returning to that deeper, three-dimensional yogi style of breath. With your forehead on the floor, take your hands and plant them just beside the knees so that you can press yourself up to a kneeling position. We're just going to transition to Baddha Konasana from here. So you can sweep your legs over to one side, come to sit in the center of your mat with the soles of the feet touching and the knees open out to the sides. Grab onto your ankles or your shins for support as you sit up tall, lengthening through the spine, and find a little fluttering action of the knees to find some more space in the inner thighs. Let that fluttering action go and just gently lean the heart forward a little bit without collapsing forward. You can gently allow your head to hang, but we want to avoid crunching the chin in towards the chest. So keep a little space in the front of the throat as you fold and breathe into the inner thighs and the hip sockets. And remember, my friends, it's not about depth or how this looks, it's about sensation and how this feels. Rise back up on your inhale. Take your hands to the outsides of your knees and close your knees up like a book, placing your feet on the floor in front of you. Draw the shoulders back and down as you lean back, lighten up your toes from the mat, and hover for boat pose. Try to let go from behind your knees with your hands and reach your fingertips forward, and then tuck your chin as you exhale, slowly lower down to hover, keeping the shoulders and the legs lifted off the mat. Inhale to rise back up, bending the knees. Exhale again, we lower down. Inhale to lift up. And again, lower down, but keep it hovering. Lift the chest towards the thighs, bend the knees, and last one. Come down to hover in this low boat position. Lower back pressing down into the mat, chin tucked, fingertips and toes reaching towards the front for 3, 2, 1, and release. Lower the back of your head down to the mat, hug the knees into the chest. Great work. As you let that one go, find a little freedom of movement, rocking from side to side. You can give the feet a point and flex, even rock the head. And we're almost done. Here's our last active posture. Plant your feet on the floor, hip width apart. Make sure knees line up over top of the heels. Put your hands on the floor beside your hips with the palms facing down, and gently firm the hands and the backs of the arms down into the floor so the heart slightly lifts. Tuck your chin to your chest to lengthen the back of the neck. Tuck your tailbone under, draw the navel in, and slowly, we're going to lift the hips up off the mat, coming into bridge pose. Feel this mind to muscle connection, so glutes and hamstrings working. For a little bit more, interlace your hands underneath you, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and press the pinky finger edges of the hands down into the mat. If your hands are clasped, you can release, separate your hands, turning the palms to face down, and slowly lower your hips back down to the earth. Keep the feet planted, allow the knees to windshield wiper right to left a couple of times. You can open the arms out a little bit wider to give yourself space to do so. Finally, coming to the end of our practice, draw the legs back through center and then extend both legs. So we're finishing our practice the same way we started off in Shavasana. Allow the hips, the knees, the ankles to relax as the toes roll open to the sides. Bring your eyes to a close. And know that this is the good stuff. This is the most valuable part of the practice. So even as the video ends, if you have a few extra minutes today, I encourage you to stay here in stillness, knowing that your body is starting to absorb and to integrate the benefits of your wonderful practice today. Thank you so much for joining me for this class. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel for more yoga content, and I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.